Hello, this is Gary Simon with DesignCourse.com, and today we're going to take a look at how to design a couple of website banners, and we're also going to take a look at a new product I've created and just launched called Wise Banner, and we'll look at that at the end. So first, here in Photoshop CS6, let's go ahead to File, New, and depending on your resolution, and I'm using specifically for this Photoshop window, it's around 1280 by 720. Choose a width and height that will fill up your artboard here near basically 100% with no scroll bars. So it may be this, it may be something higher depending on your resolution. And then everything else here should be pretty standard. And we'll just call this well, I'm going to not hit OK. I already have mine created. So go ahead and just name it Banner Project and hit OK. All right, so we're going to assume that we want to design a large square banner. And one of the standard sizes here is 336 by 280. So we're going to select here on the rectangular tool, and we'll just double click. And this will allow us to specify those exact dimensions, 336 by 280, and hit OK, and it will automatically fill in the foreground color here for the background. Alright, so now what we want to do is take the foreground color, we're going to change it to black, hit OK, and then we're also going to rename it to base. Hit Control G, and that automatically creates a group, and we will give this the name of the dimension, so 336 x 280. Alright, so now we have that. We're going to, for this tutorial, just use this right here, this asset file, which is linked in the description of the YouTube video, and open that up, hit Control A and then Control C to copy, and with the base layer selected, hit Control-Shift-N for a new layer, and we'll call this logo. And also make sure use previous layer to create clipping mask is checked. Go ahead and hit OK, and hit Control-V to paste. So what that clipping mask does, and you can see it's pointing down here if you're unfamiliar with clipping masks, it keeps everything inside the viewable area of the base layer right here, and that's important obviously for a banner project. So let's go ahead and scale this down. Hit Control T, hold Shift, and we'll make it something around that size. Select the Move tool, hit Apply. Okay, so Wise Banner, by the way, is that project that I mentioned that I just launched, and I'll describe what that is at the end here. So we're going to assume this banner right here is for our Wise Banner project. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to effective banner design is understanding what makes an effective banner, which is inclusive of a good call to action, a good headline, and also paying attention to the use of colors and making sure it's relevant. So Wise Banner, what we'll do here, we'll take the Type tool, and we'll just click once up here, and I'm going to type in rapidly produce. Now I'm using a font called Source Sans Pro. It's actually a free font that you can download, and I'll link that in the description of the YouTube video so that you can download it. It's basically, it's actually a font family, and I'm going to use a light and bold version. So for this right here, we're going to make it light, and then we're just going to select the Move tool, hit Control-Shift-D. Actually, never mind, I can't hit that because it's a shortcut to the Camtasia screen capture program I'm using. But basically, we want to duplicate it. So we'll go ahead to right-click, duplicate layer, And we'll just hit OK. And rapidly produce, so we're going to put beautiful banner sets. Take the move tool, hit Control T. We'll scale this up. And this would be considered our headline. So this copy right here is extremely important because this is what's going to grab the attention of potential visitors depending on where we're advertising. So this is also something that we would want to split test, which I'll discuss a little bit further. So let's go ahead and make this one bold. Control T, we'll scale that down a little bit more. All right, and now we want a good call to action. Now, call to actions, generally speaking, a button, something that entices people to actually click on or perform some sort of action. So down here, we'll drag out and select rounded rectangular tool. I have radius set at 20 pixels up here, and we'll make the foreground color kind of this lime green right here. So let's go ahead and just drag out right around there. All right. So now we'll take the foreground color and make it black. Click right around there. Put a couple periods in minutes. Okay, now for the aliasing, I want to choose smooth up here. Okay, and then I just kind of want to put a arrow right here. So I'm going to choose the ellipse tool, hold shift, change that foreground color to black, and we'll move it right here. And then we will take the pen tool, make sure shape is selected, and the foreground color is the color of our button. Now let's zoom up here. We'll use 1 point there, hold shift, select one down there, and hold shift again, and we'll make our foreground color right there. Okay. So let's zoom back out. All right, so that's our button. We can give this button a slight gradient. So the way we apply a gradient, we'll go down here. We'll just rename this real quickly to button. So we right click over there, and that gives us our layer styles. So let's go to gradient overlay, and we'll click in the gradient options up there. And we'll click on the first preset, which is just the foreground and background. And we'll take this color right here and just make it slightly darker, as you can see up here. Hit OK. And then we're going to go to inner shadow. We'll take blend mode to normal, opacity to 100. We'll check off use global lighting. And for size, we'll put 0, distance 1. Now we'll change the foreground color to this light color. And this kind of just makes it stand out a little bit. We'll hit OK and OK. All right, so with the Move tool selected, let's go ahead and select, and also make sure Auto Select Layer is on. We'll hold Shift and select this text layer and this one. And then also we'll hit Control and select all of the button elements right here. And we'll just move them down a little bit. And we'll uncheck those two layers at the top, just so we have the button. And we'll put that right around there. Alright, so far so good. Now let's go ahead and give the background, the base layer, just some texture, just so it can stand out a little bit. So for the base, let's go ahead and create a new layer, and we want to make sure use previous layer is still selected, and we're just going to call this background. Hit OK. Alright, so just something, there's many different ways that we could give this texture, but one way here I'll try is we'll take this the brush tool with a feather brush right here, hardness 0. And we're just going to make this kind of a darker purple. And we're just randomly going to click around here. And then I'm going to change the hardness and the size. We'll scale that down. All right. I'm going to create a new layer. Background 2. Slightly change the color here. And we can mix up the sizes, of course. All right. And then we can adjust the layer blend mode up here by hitting our down arrow and just seeing how these two layers can interact with each other on different blend modes. I kind of like that. And then the final thing we'll do is create another layer just above the logo layer. And we'll use a clipping mask there. We'll call this background 3. Hit OK. Take our rectangle tool, make the foreground black, and then just draw right around here. Okay. Control H to get rid of these outlines. And then just slightly change the opacity, just so we have a maximum contrast right there. All right, so let's say, for example, we're happy with this, but we're going to be advertising, for example, on the Google AdWords network. So Google AdWords allows you to advertise in up to 8 different banner sizes. So this is only one. So if we really want to maximize our exposure, we want to have this same banner replicated into those 7 other banner sizes. So what that requires is a lot of manual labor, basically duplicating our layers and adjusting the location and all of these to meet the new dimensions of each banner size. So let's just do that for one banner, just so I can show you how that process is done. What we want to do is right-click and duplicate that group. We'll call this 728 by 90, which is another popular leaderboard type of banner size. And we will move it down. So let's go ahead and expand that group. And basically, right up here, I'm just going to create a new layer. The fill up here will be black. I'm going to double click. Width is 728 by 90. Hit OK. All right, so now this layer right here, we want to take this and basically replace it as this base layer. So right here we see we have these top 4 layers, and they are currently clipping masks of this layer. So if I delete that, that'll go away real quick. So all I have to do is move this, call this base again, take those few and right click, create clipping mask, and let me move this down. See, we can see everything in here now. And let's go ahead and just take all of these layers and move them back where it logically fits into this new banner size. So what we'll do first is let's go ahead and take a look at the logo. Okay, so here's the logo. We may or may not use this, so it depends. So sometimes you get down to really smaller type of banner sizes, and sometimes you can't use all of the elements that you used in the bigger size that you initially worked with. So right now we're just going to hide that. So let's get the type out here, rapidly produce and banner sets. All right, so that appears to work pretty well right here. Now let's go ahead and take our button. Let's see here. Okay, so we can group this as well, call this button. So, do we have enough room for the logo? Well, let's go ahead and see here. Right here, it's pretty small. Actually, I'm going to drag this above. So does it really make sense to have the logo there if it's so small, and does it really serve our purpose? Because remember, we want people to, as many people as possible, to click so we can have a high click-through ratio. Is it necessary to have it? I really don't think so. Here we can add it because we have enough room, certainly. So what I want to do is take this button right here, and we'll move it right there. Take the rapidly produce. We're going to delete this layer. Take this one down here. Beautiful banner sets. We'll make this bold. Control T. And that way it kind of flows together and it's larger and it sticks out. Okay, so also we don't need this background right there, but we can play around with these a little bit. And we could probably stand to make in minutes a little bit larger. And that's it. So at this point, now we have both of our banners ready to go and ready to be exported. So the way you export these, it's pretty simple. I'm going to take both of them and just duplicate those. And hit OK. And I'll hide these. And then I'll just select this one, hit Control E. And then select this one, hit Control E. And then when we go, say for example, we want to save the 336 by 280, just go to Control A and then to select all, and then Control C, File New, and then obviously it has our width and height specified from the clipboard, whatever we have copied currently. Hit OK, and then hit Control V to paste. And if you want to save for web, File Save for Web. And we have our options up here on how to export them. So depending on the ad network, they may allow PNGs or JPG files. Most do. And you can experiment, and sometimes you also have file size restrictions or limits. For instance, I believe AdWords is 50 kilobytes, so we would be fine with this banner in these settings right here. Sometimes you can get a little bit more graphical, and you may go above the 50 KB, and at that point you would just adjust the quality and play around with these settings until you can get under to 50 KB and then hit save. So that's pretty straightforward, very simple. And then you would do the same thing down here for the rest of your banner sizes. So that's basically the task of creating banner sets. Recently though, actually at the beginning of 2013, I came up with an idea to really streamline this process and automate it as much as possible so we can get rid of all the tedious aspects of this. So just to show you real quick, it is called Wise Banner, and let me bring up a browser here. Alright, wisebanner.com. Alright, so let me just get this scaled up properly so we can see it. So Wise Banner, this is a product I created, and it's basically a set of Photoshop actions, scripts, and PSD files. So the way this works, let me log in real quick and go to here. So we have the banner catalog. So it's probably kind of a little bit confusing at first, but basically, if you know how many text layers you want in your banner, and object layers, which those could be buttons or they could be photographs or anything, you can specify right here. So if we select 2 text layers that we want, for example, it automatically updates. And if we want to choose the object layers, say we want 2 object layers, then we have this template right here. So if we click on this template is ready to go in different colors. So let's just choose black. So if I specify download action file and download PSD file and load this into Photoshop and also load the PSD file, we're ready to go. So we can see we have up to 15 different popular banner sizes all ready to go and to be designed for. So the way this works is you specify your text up here, and you obviously don't have to follow along. I just wanted to quickly illustrate this. Like a pro. And then for the object layers, we can specify anything we want, really. So if I wanted this object layer right here to be the actual logo, I'll go back. Scale that down real quick. And it's okay if this overlaps initially, that's fine. And then this could be like a call to action button. So what I could do is real quickly take this button and merge it to one layer. Paste that in there. And then we could also, very easily adjust the gradient or do anything with the background, but just for the purpose of showing you how this works. Say, for example, we're happy with this just for now, and we go to Window Actions, hit Background Replication. That gets the same background on all of these, and then we hit Process Banners. Now what this does is it manually takes all of these banners, these layers right here, and it automatically replicates them to all of the other banner sets or banner sizes down here. And it takes roughly about 20 seconds. And you can see it's working automatically right here. So now we have these all replicated. So if I move this off of here, we can see that we have a pretty simplified version of this up here. So now it becomes just a matter of quickly adjusting the size and position of these various layers down here. So real quickly, we can just make sure everything's good with that one. And sometimes based on, oops, I'll change this to, say, 15. So it doesn't create that down there. Oops, wrong one. And I'm not going to go ahead and bore you by making these adjustments to every single banner, but you basically get the point. Usually on average, to create a banner set, it only takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to create 15 different banners. And that's why I personally use Wise Banner whenever I'm designing banners for a client, because it's really powerful, actually. And basically you would do that through all of these. And then when you want to save them, you bring out the Actions window again. And what's really cool is this can save animated GIFs, and it will automatically animate the title layer, just so you have a version of 15 animated banners. And then also you can save and export the JPG files, and I'll show you how quick that is. So if we wanted to save these JPG files, hit play. It allows us to specify a directory. Hit close documents after saving, leave JPG quality at 80, and hit save banners. And what it's doing right now is exporting all of these real quickly. and it automatically flattens them. But if I were to go to that directory, we would be good to go. So if you ever have to design a banner set and you want to be able to cut out like 90% of the work, go ahead and check out my project at wisebanner.com. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.